the
Oh. What's up, you guys? Welcome in. Okay, so this might be a little old news, but we're here to talk about it because this earlier today I did a live about the religious psychosis, right? Christian psychosis, whatever. Rapture regret. Before I start, I want to let y'all know I got some high tea, some of the baby data back on Facebook, and we're gonna get into this page tomorrow if he's still there. But back to it. So we're here to talk about Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt. Okay, this is them. This is them. Oh, we finna get into it. Now, Ruby was married. She is the mother. This is her husband. And she had 6 children with her husband. Okay. Oh, we finna get into it. Oh. Now, she was a vlogger on YouTube, very famous. She was a YouTube channel. It was like a family channel. It was her, and her husband and the kids always had to show, her and the family. Let's see if I can find. Her and the family and things like that, right? And she's a vlogger. She got convicted for child abuse. So her and her husband, they documented their family life in Utah with her husband Kevin. They had 6 children. She posted 5 days a week from 6 a.m. She had like 2.5 million subscribers and had like 1 billion views. And she started her YouTube, I believe, in 2020. One of her children, a 15-year-old boy, said that he had been banned from his bedroom and made to sleep on a beanbag. 7 months, and viewers became concerned about this mother's discipline method. So her youngest daughter was sent to school with a packed lunch because Ruby believed her 6-year-old daughter was old enough to prepare and be responsible for her own lunch. Baby, it's a lot. We finna get into how all this started. Yeah. Oh, we finna get into how this started. So we're gonna watch a couple of videos about how this started. I believe her children have not talked to her like that. There's a documentary on it. Her son, he did an interview about what happened. He did a whole interview with someone, and I'm gonna see if I can pull up these video clips. The kids. It's sad, y'all. It's sad. It's so sad. So we're going to show some of her YouTube. Now, this all started when she started having an affair with this lady here of the church. Oh, yeah. So before we watch that, let me get y'all to what happened. Let me get y'all to what happened. I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I remember hearing like all this stuff. So you guys can go watch her documentary, right? Kevin had moved. Kevin noticed some changes, right? And Kevin started noticing that Jodi was over a lot. And she would leave, and Jodi was teaching the women to hate men in their marriages. Jodi would tell them how men were sin. It's okay, Robin. Hey, you came in just in time. How men were sin. And how basically your man is this, your man is the devil, your man is demonic, your man, he is demonic, that's your man. But come to find out, Jodi was out here bumping cootie cats with the wives. You heard what I said, bumping cootie cat with the wives. She had Ruby leave her husband to get with her. Oh yes, it's a lot with that. So I'm trying to see how their relationship started so I can give y'all the synopsis of everything. Because I want y'all to get, honey. I say what now? Child. So here's the tea. They had begun their relationship after meeting through their church. Hildebrandt was a former licensed clinical mental health counselor who became a life coach, being counseling Franke's family. This initially professional connection evolved into a deeper personal and business partnership. Franke and Hildebrandt first connected through their shared church, and Hildebrandt began counseling Franke's children and family through her life coaching program. This started in 2009. Franke's husband Kevin and children also began attending Constance's classes. In 2021, the relationship began deepened when Hildebrandt, who reportedly was having spiritual visions, moved in with the Franke family. This led to Ruby and Kevin separating, as Hildebrandt advised the couple to stay apart. So thank you, Terry. So they had separate rooms. So she came in and said, she was telling women they demonic and this, that. We're going to watch it together. I think I can find the documentary on YouTube, but we're going to watch it. We're going to dissect together. Then in 2022, Franke left her successful 8 Passengers YouTube channel to focus on her collaboration with Hildebrandt, and they started a joint YouTube channel for Constance and created a shared Instagram account called Moms of Truth. In 2023, Franke and her 2 youngest children moved into Hildebrandt's house. In August of that year, the 2 were arrested and charged with multiple counts of aggravated child abuse after one of Franke's children escaped Hildebrandt's home and sought help. The oldest boy escaped the home because of the fact was that she was not feeding them. We're going to watch their videos first, and then we're going to go into the documentary. Because, baby, when I tell you the way that they say that boy bones was sticking out on the side of his ribs,
It's what I scheduled. Worth. Hey, I'm still recording! Come on! Why am I hearing all this noise?
35, and we're trying to get ready for church. That's all.
Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully...
Remind you, that child is only 6 years old. Oh, let me tell I'm sorry. I got the picture up. Hold on. The child is only 6 years old.
Hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
Mom, can you give me some breakfast? You don't need food. Oh,
everything that comes into this house belongs to who?
Yeah.
Belongs to me.
Because I really won't get anything for summer. I won't be able to go anywhere. No, I don't have any friends. No iPads, no TV, nothing.
I cannot wait to hug them and to smell them and to lick them.
Here it is.
Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack lunch.
Eve is only 6. This is a 6-year-old girl making her own lunch. 6.
Asking for help. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
It's the 911 call heard around the world, casting the spotlight on a popular YouTuber.
Before we start and complete, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for a purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use prohibited by the copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit educational or personal use to tips in the balance in the favor of fair use. Now we're gonna watch this, y'all.
If you're in a position of power and you turn your power and give it over to the kids, that is control.
And her partner in crime.
Hi, I'm Jodi Hildebrandt. I am at the 2nd annual Women's Retreat.
I'm as shocked as anybody. Her and Ruby were just the 2 wrong things to come together.
In a story that has layers.
She can stay right here on the porch so you can see her.
What are you afraid of, sir?
Upon layers.
Jodi is very smart in how she approaches her therapeutic modalities. It's like a frog being boiled in water. You know, you start off with the cold water and slowly turn up the temperature.
Jodi was messing with everybody, y'all. Y'all go hear about Jodi was slipping and sliding in every female she could. All of them that she sat there and talked to, come to find out, she was having relations with them. Yes.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime. This is where we break down the most compelling true crime cases in America. Our next story takes us all the way out west, but this is a case that had the entire nation buzzing when it broke in late summer 2023. And it all began with one chilling 911 phone call.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
August 30th, 2023, Ivins, Utah. What you're hearing is not your typical 911 phone call, but this isn't your typical case, and it all begins with one woman.
Worshipping your child will be placing your child's desires over responsibility.
This is Ruby Franke.
I am kind of a crazy mom in that I love my kids to wear red, white, and blue. They have been wearing red, white, and blue every year since they were wearing clothes.
Ruby Franke was a YouTuber and had millions of followers for her 8 Passengers channel. That's where Ruby's claim to fame really came from.
I think the kids are more excited about the presents the siblings are getting.
8 Passengers was started several years ago by both Ruby Franke and her husband, Kevin.
You guys, we are in Florida.
And the kids had no idea.
They have 6 children together, and it was kind of that initial mommy blog YouTube channel where Ruby would basically invite people into her life with her husband and her children.
You guys are gonna watch each other. I made dinner, but you have to eat dinner. Got it? No.
Silly business.
I was gonna say hanky panky, but that's not right. I'm pretty sure. No silly business. That's better.
She focused her family as the main driving source of content for her platform.
What is this?
It's a cake and the side is the color of the baby.
So we're gonna find out if it's pink or if it's blue.
A lot of the kids you almost saw grow up in that YouTube channel.
Do you want to start dating? Like, I don't know if I've ever asked you that. I just assumed that you didn't.
I wouldn't care if I started dating, but I'm 13 and I feel like I'm too young.
You know that you can always come talk to me, right? You ever want to?
That's weird that you're growing up and your mama get a camera in your face and say, well, hi, little Tommy, excuse me. Do you want to start dating? Like, do you want to tell the people in me that you want to date? You're 13. Like, is that what you want to do? Like, come on now.
Good talk.
8 Passengers was the wild ride of the Franke family with over 2 million subscribers over the years, most likely by parents who were looking at this, looking at the tactics used, looking to them for advice, as so many do on social media.
But you yelled at me.
Shh. The fact that I yell at my kids is a secret. We don't want our viewers to know.
However, these videos started to take a dark turn.
Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all know the girl I talk about on mommy content because she does the erratic things I just talked about. This is something she would do if she had her children. They would be fixing their own lunch.
People were upset about whatever was happening on this channel, parenting tactics or how the children were being treated.
You have to vote. Listen, if you do not vote for what fun you want, we will ensure you will have no fun at all.
God,
there were people who were concerned about the things that she was doing to punish her children. She had her son who left his socks outside, made him do push-ups.
Put them in your pocket so you can take them down to the hamper and drop and give me 10.
1.
Put your hands straight out. They're in. They're not supposed to be out. Shape your hands forward. There you go.
There was another situation where her oldest son ended up losing his bed for several months.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October.
Chad came home from Anasazi and
Russell was like, I want to try junking the basketball. And I lifted him up on the
and he was
and left me there. We shot 3 minutes. And he was just hanging on there.
Do you think it's funny? Because
And then I walk out.
if you think it's funny, then that was.
Yeah, she actually did put this on YouTube. Another thing I wanted to say is she'll be mad at me. You don't have to take your bed. You're not taking my bed. You can take your bed, but you're not taking my bed. Like, no. She would have been mad at me if she made me drop it, give her. I'm not giving you nothing. No.
7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
Oh, wow.
It was not funny.
There were a lot of people who were really put off by that. And that led to them criticizing her online.
When looking at the change.org platform, there are a couple of petitions pertaining to Ruby Franke and 8 passengers. There's one from 2020 that actually says, get 8 passengers, Ruby Franke, under investigation for child abuse. There's also another one that still has almost 18,000 signatures. There were obvious concerns.
Eve, this is my tape. What are you doing? What are you doing to this poor baby? Should I tape your eyes to make you sleep?
The biggest thing was seeing all the kids get hurt on the YouTube channels. When I saw split fingers and bloody noses, the things that I saw were off camera, and they were all the stuff at parties. They were just patterns of behavior, saying things like, oh, if my kids won't go to bed, I just give them Tylenol PMs. One conversation with Ruby was over dinner, and me and her argued the whole time about parenting for like a half an hour. For me, there was red flags throughout all of that.
We do know over the years there were a number of calls to Ruby's home in Springville for a variety of things. Some were welfare checks, just checking on their family because the kids were left alone, according to one of the narratives.
Hi, my name is Sherry Franke. My 4 younger siblings are living in Springville, and my neighbors have been telling me that they have been left home alone for about 4 or 5 days.
The CPS visits didn't amount to much. A lot of those are private record. We're not able to get those records. What we did see is Springville police assisting. There's no details of how they proceeded, but clearly they didn't proceed in a certain direction.
In 2022, Ruby Franke stops posting.
The father pissed me off because if I was him, it would have been a divorce. I'm sorry. I would have got custody of my kids. I would have showed the court that she is just not,
posting on the 8 Passengers channel. There's a new person in Franke's life, and they're taking up a lot of her time.
Hi, I'm Jodi Hildebrandt. I am at the 2nd annual Women's Retreat in St. George, Utah.
Jodi Hildebrandt was a licensed clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah. Ruby was working for Jodi at Connections.
Hi, we are live in Mapleton, Utah, and we have Ruby here. And Ruby is a part of the original 10 women that are being trained to become mental fitness trainers.
Connections is essentially a life coaching group or offering from Jodi Hildebrandt. She was the founder of Connections Classroom. But she had two other people that worked for her in Connections. One woman is named Pam Botcher, the president of the Connections Foundation, which was actually listed as a nonprofit. The other was Ruby Franke, who was listed as a certified mental fitness trainer.
A man or a woman can be being abusive and they still will have their children given to them, which is horrible. This little boy that you have depends on you, Mom. And I'm hoping that you will be a lioness to protect him.
Now, how the hell, Judy, you gonna tell somebody what they need to do when we just figured out the stuff that you finna do? Girl, if you don't sit down some darn well.
Connections offered one-on-one coaching sessions with Jodi, or couples classes, or
I'm sorry, Judy.
Specific classes for women and specific classes for men as it pertained to perhaps strengthening your relationship or getting the most out of your life.
There are all these different behaviors that kids and adults go into to distract themselves from the fear that they don't matter.
But Jodi Hildebrandt isn't without her own controversies.
She was actually put on probation back in January of 2012 for some of the things that she did ethically as it pertained to an individual that she was counseling. His name was Adam Steed. Adam actually saw Jodi back in 2008, and it came out that Jodi shared a lot of his personal client privilege information with members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and also members of a local institution, Brigham Young University, where Adam was working at the time.
I was just so messed up emotionally and mentally after Jodi Hildebrandt that I was scared of my own name. You know, when you're a victim of child abuse and your therapist, Jodi Hildebrandt, tells you the PTSD and the trauma from that is just your sexual addiction, and then she throws you into a class, and then the other three guys start talking about being a voyeurist with victims, being an exhibitionist with victims, being an incest person with victims. It was extremely uncomfortable.
We have spent 24 hours between the 2 days talking about how to recognize distortion and move it into truth. We have cried and we have laughed and we have applauded and we have invited people into boundaries. They're very interested in coming back, bringing their spouses.
She wouldn't let me leave therapy. She contacted other therapists and told them terrible things about me so that I couldn't get help elsewhere. She was just punishing me and trying to control my life. When I started to ask certain questions, she just changed everything and went on a complete assassination.
Connection.
Now, I'm going to pause because I would like for you to hear her Ruby Franke husband on Jodi. See if they have a clip. Oh, very horrible. So let me stop sharing my screen there and let me share to what someone else had said. I think this person.
I'm Jodi Hildebrandt, the founder of Connections. And I'm Ruby Franke, Jodi's sidekick. Don't let the sidekick fool you. She is what the Lord has done. She was all in on Connections at that point.
Hold on. I'm trying to find a husband. But basically, oh, right. This is the husband.
What's going to happen to my wife? I love my wife.
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I don't know. Haven't had an interview.
He didn't visit the children. From what I understood, he didn't go visit the children because he didn't want to see Jodi. Jodi made his life a living hell in that house. Jodi would do things to make his life a living hell, and Ruby would go with it.
I don't know if got started against my wife.
Possibly. I think given the circumstances, that's highly appropriate. But again, I don't know your wife. I was hoping to gain some insight from you, but I don't necessarily know that that's something you wanted to.
I trust her.
A road you wanted to travel down with me, so.
And not without legal representation.
Yeah, all right, I get it.
But I love my wife and I trust my wife. And so, I mean, this feels like getting run over by a steam truck while you're sharing with me today.
Yeah, I can tell you're caught off guard.
I thought I was just coming here to pick up my kids, and for what, I don't know what or why, but. And I was planning on taking them back with me and just.
I mean, I'd love to have a candid conversation with you. I just don't know how it's going to be received by you. I don't know you, but I can tell you my perception of how this happened.
Well, I'm interested. Look, I'm interested in facts, but again, at the same time, I'm interested in all the facts.
But you understand our facts. Our facts are that you have a child that is emaciated, malnutrition, and has marks. I didn't spend any time with her. Sergeant Tobler did.
Did any of you spend time with her?
I have not.
She went to. She was requested to go to the hospital along with, based on their condition.
Folks, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to. You realize that I have a picture of my family on my wall, and I look at it every day, and I work every day, so I can get back to my family and save my family. And everything you're sharing to me just sounds like a made-up story.
He thought it was a made-up story. He thought it was something wrong with him in his churn. So we're gonna go back to what happened. But that was just something. But he did say at one point, I'm trying to see if I can find it. He was just like, there were times where basically, did he post it? Yeah, he left and didn't see them. Hold on. Here it goes.
Separated. If you've been following the Ruby, Franke, and Jodi Hildebrandt case, then you know that Kevin and Ruby had separated over a year before she was arrested. We heard rumors that Kevin had an addiction and that Jodi talked Ruby into kicking him out of the house. But watching this interview that was released today, Kevin says it was Ruby's decision and he didn't know that Jodi had any part in it.
Jodi was telling the women that their husbands, right, he should have still checked on them. That's what everybody was saying. Jodi was telling the women that their husband had a sexual addiction. That they're addicted to sex. And if they asked him just for sex, they're addicted. All the men, remember the guy we just saw that he's like, oh, she played on my abuse. She told his wife all he wanted was from sex from her. And when he asked for his wifely duties, she said that those men could not be trusted. They are demonic. They are not sent from God, and they want sexual addictions.
Watch it and let me know what you think.
Of my own addictions that I was working through and seeking help on with
Thank you for sharing that.
And what it was, Jodi told her to stop giving him any actual contact. So he reverted to watching because he wasn't getting none. So we're gonna go back to the thing that we're watching on YouTube. I think the documentary, there is a documentary you guys can watch as well.
Is unique. It's an anomaly in the world. People don't understand that they can actually heal their pain. And if you have not joined the Connections family, I would encourage you strongly.
Ain't gonna lie, I think all them women were messing together.
She brought everybody in. And now she was saying I was mentally unhealthy and I couldn't choose for myself. I lost my children, a huge amount of their lives because of this.
Adam Steed is not the only person who...
I think Adam was the one that said that, you know, his wife got all dressed up after listening to Jodi, and, you know, she had her laundry on. She was smelling good, looking good. And, you know, he was like, okay. And she was like, all you want is sex. That's all you want. And I'm just here for the kids. I'm just your baby maker. That's all you want. And she took herself and she ran out that room. Yeah, she did that. But Jodi was allegedly laying with her too.
Comes forward about Jodi Hildebrandt.
She strips you of identity. She strips you of credibility. She isolates. And so she's saying everything that you say is a lie. Everything that you say is manipulation. You're lying and destroying everyone's life. So for the sake of everyone else's safety, we're duct taping you.
This is Jessie Hildebrandt, Jodi's niece, who alleges physical, emotional, and mental abuse they suffered under the care of their aunt when they were younger.
I was sleeping outside in the snow in the middle of winter in Utah. I wasn't allowed to have a bed. She told everyone that it was like a mummy bag,
familiar,
you know, sub-zero type of sleeping bag. No, it was absolutely not. Her justification to the police was that she was preparing me for outdoor wilderness therapy.
We talked about sexuality, relationships in truth rather than distortion. And so these women gave some amazing points of the sacredness of sexuality and the utmost importance in order to be able to be in a centered, connected relationship.
Jodi kind of prescribes herself as being this person who's very much into honesty, and her whole brand is kind of owning up to who you are and what you've done. She tends to be, I think, a bit more strict than what most counselors would be. And really probably at the end of the day, her and Ruby were just the two wrong things to come together.
When we return, Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt are thrust into the national spotlight.
A 12-year-old male showed up with tape around his legs Thursday asking for help, said he was afraid asking for police. The male does have duct tape around each ankle. He's not telling the RP why, and said that there's sores around his wrists and ankles. The RP is becoming emotional regarding the child's health.
It's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
What?
We're in Utah, where mom of 6, Ruby Franke, who spent years documenting the lives of her children and husband Kevin on the once popular YouTube channel 8 Passengers, has stopped posting videos on the page. This after receiving backlash over her disciplinary and parenting style.
Mine who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in hell, as I have told, or disappear off the face of the earth. And I'm not going anywhere.
Franke partners up with Jodi Hildebrandt, a mental health counselor who runs a life coaching business known as Connections.
So Ruby, you want to tell us about what a mental fitness trainer is?
Yes. So we are getting mentally fit. We are getting ready to be your mental fitness trainer. We're getting truth, really easy to teach and help you, and you're going to feel so much better.
Absolutely.
No hell.
But Hildebrandt herself has come under fire for her alleged manipulative and physical abuse techniques.
She didn't want me to leave her therapy group. I couldn't go to any other therapist. I was trying to go to other therapists because they were saying I was an addict in denial, and it was just crazy. When I tried to get away, she changed everything and went after me in the most bizarre way I've ever seen, and then ruined my whole life.
Jodi is very smart in how she approaches her therapeutic modalities because they are so extreme. If she were just to start out with those things, everyone would recognize it and they would be shocked and it'd be like, absolutely not. But she's very subtle and she's very calculated. It's like a frog being boiled in water. You start off with the cold water and slowly turn up the temperature.
The only way you can actually have a fulfilling, and I don't mean physiologically fulfilling, I'm talking about a spiritual fulfilling sexual relationship. It starts with self and then it moves into your partner.
But this partnership between Franke and Hildabrandt has
still up,
devastating
y'all.
consequences.
I just had a 12-year-old
After this, y'all want to see if it's still up? Let me see why this plays.
boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The Santa Clara Ivans Public Safety area basically got a phone call, and officers were alerted of a situation at a home in Ivans, Utah, the home of Jodi Hildebrandt. That is where two of Ruby Franke's younger children were at the time, 9 and 12. One of them was able to leave and run to a neighbor's house.
We know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty. And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid.
By listening to that 911 call, which still haunts me to this day as a father of a 2-year-old myself, the neighbor, an older gentleman, extremely compassionate in this situation and can't believe what has just stumbled upon his doorstep.
This kid has obviously been, I think he's been detained. He's obviously.
When they got him, he was very skinny and fragile. I'm gonna play a little bit more, and then we're gonna get into the kids. They had an interview of what they had to say about their experience. It's very sad. He's grown now; they're all adults, and I think most of them are adults. The rest of them are. It should be adults. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna look because some. I think we're gonna get into it.
Covered in wounds. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
The 911 call is heartbreaking. The 12-year-old son ends up getting out of a window in their basement and make his way to the neighbor's house. He's asking for a drink and food. The neighbor, he sees ligature marks. He sees what he describes as emaciated and malnourished. Based on what was found on his wrists and his ankles, this child was tied up for quite some time.
Russell was the one they found first. There was bruising and blistering because of some of the tactics that were used with the cayenne pepper and the honey to put in the wounds and then plastered back over with some of the wrap. It was less described about Eve than it was Russell.
Both Russell and his sister Eve are taken to the hospital for malnourishment and injuries. But there's another pressing issue. Where are Ruby's other minor children?
Officers from a number of agencies in Utah County, Springville Police, Utah County Major Crimes Task Force, they went to Ruby Franke's home in Springville because they wanted to locate the two outstanding children that were under the age of 18. So when officers get to the house, they try to obviously knock on the door, and then they kick the door down. They basically blow right through the door and they clear the house. They realize the children are not there. And then around noon or so, we start to hear that Ruby Franke called her friend, who is Jodi's longtime friend, Pam Botcher.
There's two. There's one other sibling that we're still looking for, considered still as dangerous, and DCFS has a warrant to take them both into custody. Pam was seen picking up the Springville Rec Center around 1:15 today, and that's how we kind of figured that out. How'd you guys go out there?
I'm looking for Pam. Is Pam in today?
Yeah, that's my wife.
Is your wife? She's here? Hi. Hello, Pam. How are you doing?
Good.
Pam Botcher is the third member of Connections Classroom. The two girls were found at Pam Botcher's home. They were unharmed.
You have a warrant?
Yeah, we do.
Will you just tell them you're all right?
Well, you have to physically see her.
Under that doorway.
What's interesting about all of this, when they reach the front door and they ask to speak with Pam Botcher, both her and her husband are stunned. They don't understand what is going on.
We'll go ahead and get the copy of the warrant for you, okay?
You have a warrant for my house?
Specifically for you.
Yeah, for you and the child.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What is going on?
They ask Pam to come with them. They do place her into custody in a detainment form by actually putting cuffs on her and putting her in one of the patrol cars. They talk to Pam about what she knows about Ruby, what the two girls were doing there, how she had the two girls initially.
Is Ruby Franke's daughter. She's a friend of ours. I did make her scrub the floor, and they vacuumed and stuff because I have company coming tonight from Costa Rica.
What?
So, but she did it of her own free will.
Pam says about 5 to 10 to 20 times in this conversation in the body camera, they were just doing some cleaning for me. We ate some ice cream. That's all it is.
So just to make sure I'm understanding all this correctly, Ruby contacted you around noon.
Said she had a family emergency.
And needed you to pick up the girls.
Yeah, she said, would you mind watching the girls while I'm gone? Because she was leaving. I said, yeah, I could do that because I need some help cleaning. I just went to the pool and said, hey, they have a family emergency. Can I pick up? She said, sure. Your mom said you could come help me clean today. She said, okay.
Okay. And what about
Ruby just told me she'd be at the Ace Hardware.
So in Pam's defense, she was extremely confused because I don't think the officer had all the facts because they were getting this from another agency, and then finally things started coming together. As we sit here and talk today, Pam has not been charged with anything. She's not involved in any of this. However, I am curious to know if they questioned her about any of the things that went on with Ruby and Jodi throughout the entire court proceeding.
Is it possible I could talk to you by my car? A little out of so we can just talk.
Yeah, she can go in and lock the door.
Go in and lock the door.
Yeah.
If this officer goes with you, her, sure.
No.
No?
When police do end up finding the children at Pam's house, it's not just a conversation that they have with Pam. They talk to Pam's husband, who is very standoffish, obstinate in a way.
She can stay right here on the porch so you can
So I
see
can
her.
see her?
Absolutely.
What are you afraid of, sir?
I don't know what's going on.
So that's what I'm going to brief you on, but I want to say...
I'm telling you, I'm answering your question. Number one, I don't know what's going on. Number two, I don't want Springville to drive up and you guys whisk her away. Number three, her mom isn't here right now. And I feel like I'm kind of trying to protect her from getting into...
Her mama ain't coming till they leave, baby. It's her mama's fault. It's Ruby's fault.
Bad situation.
And it's not just Botcher's husband who seems resistant.
Do you need medical attention at all? Okay. Is there a reason you're so scared right now?
Yep. They don't tell her she told
It's
that girl.
us? Okay. My intention is not to scare you. Are you okay? Or is there something that I can do to make you not feel as scared right now? Or would you rather not talk?
The children don't really want to engage with police. They're standoffish.
Girls have been melancholy over there, just sitting on the porch, haven't really said a word to us. They whisper stuff to each other. But
Yeah. Older sister was saying that it might be rough.
The children are ultimately taken into state custody. Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt are arrested and charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse each, with respect to Russell and Eve's injuries.
You're talking about serious bodily injury and you get to the aggravated child abuse portion of it, which is a 2nd-degree felony. That's a 1 to 15-year sentence, which is what these charges ended up being. Sometimes that's related to emotional abuse. Sometimes that's related to severe malnutrition. It can be a combination of them.
The arrest of Franke and Hildabrandt sets off a firestorm.
It really gained the interest from people around the world about how this could take place and how these two lives between Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt came together and just how messy it gets. And I think the rest of the world couldn't believe it because this is something that happens in a movie, right? This is something that is the worst of the worst.
Ruby Franke's own family reacted to the arrest, and on Instagram, her adult daughter Shari posted the words, "Finally, and today has been a big day." Her official statement reads, "Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. We've been trying to tell the police and CPS for years about this, and so glad they finally decided to step up."
The family dynamic is hard to understand. We see maybe a few social media posts from Shari, none of the other children. So it's hard to tell the exact standing of the relationship. They've got to be exhausted by all of this, and it's got to be frightening for them.
This is only part of the story. When we return, Ruby Franke makes a decision that upends the case, and secrets are revealed about what actually happened to the Franke children.
I think I share the same reaction that a lot of people share. I'm as shocked as anybody as you read these.
Stay with us.
Yeah, how she?
So you represent Miss Franke? I do. Will be on the video with us. Miss Franke, can you hear me?
Yes.
Have you received a copy of the information in this case?
Yes.
Utah 2023. Once popular mommy vlogger Ruby Franke and her business associate Jodi Hildebrandt are arrested and charged with aggravated child abuse of 2 of Franke's young children. But one lingering question remains. What about Kevin Franke, Ruby's husband and the children's father?
There's Ruby. There's our camera. Here's Kevin. Here's our other camera. This is where I pick you up and we're going on our trip. Sherry's first European vacation.
He was shocked, devastated, hurt, felt deceived, didn't know any of that was going on. He hadn't seen his kids for 12 months or more and didn't know that they were even in Ivan's. Kevin very much loved his children and loved his wife and had a strong bond with all of his kids. But Ruby felt like there were differences in their marriage. And at one point, in conjunction with Jodi Hildebrandt, it was sort of like, we have to separate to save our marriage. You know, we'll keep working on our marriage, but for now, you have to be away. And you have to work on yourself and don't have contact with the kids.
Ruby Franke's separation from Kevin Franke is textbook from what we've heard from other people about Jodi Hildebrandt. It is very similar to what other couples have gone through. There were people that came to us and say, Jodi ripped apart my marriage.
Kevin was attending men's groups that were facilitated.
Said that he wanted to, but I'm gonna play it where he said why he couldn't see the kids. But still, again, I feel like I don't think he a deadbeat. I think he's a female doggy in this situation. But I think it was something that she said or did to where he was like, he couldn't do it. I think he said because he still loved her, he could not see her with her. And Jodi, when she came to stay, made it difficult. It was always an argument, which, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, but he could have did better than that to see his kids.
By Jodi, he was being downgraded and diminished and told how bad he was and that he needed to repent, and that the best way to repent was to not infect his family with his problems, and that's why you need to stay away.
Despite the apparent separation, Ruby allegedly reaches out to Kevin just before she's arrested.
He was working, and she pretty much just said, this is an emergency. I need you to come get the kids. He, of course, tore down there, not knowing any of the details of all this that was going on till he got there.
Following the arrest of Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke, the case slows down. That is until December 2023, when it's suddenly back in the headlines.
I got a note from Ruby's attorney about a week or so before they were going to notice of the waiver hearing. That is waiving the right to a preliminary hearing. In many cases, it means no trial. You can enter your plea agreement. Ruby Franke's statement from her attorneys on that Friday before the hearing said, initially, Ms. Franke believed that Jodi Hildebrandt had the insight to offer a path to continual improvement. Ms. Hildebrandt took advantage of this quest and twisted it into something heinous. Ms. Hildebrandt systematically isolated Ms. Franke from her extended family, older children, her husband, Kevin Franke. They took the liberty to use most of that statement by pointing the finger at Jodi Hildebrandt.
Ms. Franke, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
with my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children. Guilty.
I think Ruby's motivation behind pleading guilty was to not put her children through this extended process where she's fighting it and the children potentially have to get up and testify. I think she obviously very clearly wants to reconcile with her children. So I think that there was a notion of her letting her children know that she was taking accountability for it, that she recognized what she did was wrong, and that she's going to be better going forward.
This morning, Ruby Franke pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. The state agreed to dismiss the 2 other counts of child abuse. And she agrees, I'll read this one verbatim. She agrees to testify truthfully against Jodi Hildebrandt, and in return, the Washington County Attorney's Office agrees to remain neutral regarding future hearings before the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole.
They needed Ruby to be there to say, look, Jodi was kind of the linchpin in all of this. She knew everything that was going on, and she was advising me. This is what she told me to do. When you're talking about co-defendants in cases like this, it's not uncommon for a prosecutor to try to find one to cooperate against the other.
And Ruby Franke's plea agreement is how the world finds out exactly what happened to her 2 youngest children, Russell and Eve.
Some of the things that kind of came out with the plea form that weren't in the initial booking statement, when you go through and you look at the injuries associated with Russell, Ruby had boots on and was involved in kicking him while he was on the ground. She admits to holding his head underwater. Obviously incredibly concerning.
The tying up and then the emaciation and the malnourishment. They talk about how the 2 children were forced to do physical tasks for hours, even days at a time, like carrying boxes, full books up and down stairs, working outside in the desert climate. They were denied water. They were doing so without shoes. In the summer heat, they were out in the direct sunlight for several days. They were blistering, but there was also part of the abuse about the isolation from other people. They were basically shunned, therefore leading to both of them having severe emotional harm from being treated differently.
Questions remain. What does this mean for Jodi Hildebrandt? And will Ruby Franke serve any time?
Obviously, all of it is indeterminate. In Utah, the judge is limited in what he can do.
How do you know if you are a controlling parent? If you're in a position of power and you turn your power and give it over to the kids, that is control.
Utah, December 2023. Once popular YouTuber Ruby Franke has pled guilty to 4 counts of child abuse against 2 of her own children.
We will be talking all about empowering your children through setting boundaries, teaching them responsibility, and helping them to heal from anxiety. Hope to see you there.
But with Franke's admission of guilt and willingness to testify against her co-defendant, mental health counselor Jodi Hildebrandt, could Hildebrandt fight her child abuse charges at trial?
There's a possible defense of appropriate parenting. There are different situations where...
When I heard Jodi say that she loved those children, Jodi doesn't love children. Jodi's like Ted Bundy.
After being caught, Ms. Hildebrandt has shown little to no remorse for her actions. In telephone conversations that will be provided in full to the Board of Pardons and Parole, and which she knew to be recorded, she's repeatedly claimed that she is the victim and the children are the perpetrators. She has gone so far as to say that the things said in this proceeding and covered by the media today will be full of lies.
All right, y'all. We finna go to the interview with the kids. Whew. So one of the children is speaking. I'm gonna let it play.
Oh my gosh, like I look like her or I sound like her, but I don't want to be anything like her.
Sherry, who says she was cut off from the family when she left for college, detailing abuse she says her mother inflicted throughout her childhood.
When I was younger, around like 5, 6, like Ruby was really physical, like, you know, whether it was like a slap to the lip or a slap to the cheek. When I would practice the piano, you know, like her hand would slam and like it was really scary. And honestly, when she met Jodi, that kind of stopped.
Enter Jodi Hildebrandt, a Mormon family counselor and mentor to Ruby.
Could you feel the shift when Jodi came into your family's life?
I could for sure. I could feel the shift. I was like, oh, Jodi, like, you know, I don't like her, but maybe this is one good thing that's come from it is she's not yelling, she's not hitting us anymore. But it did become more psychological. And in a way that was.
She does. And I think for a while, she had to accept that she looked like her mom.
It's more damaging to me.
In 2022, Hildabrandt moved into the Franke home. The children's father, Kevin, moved out shortly after.
I certainly got weird vibes from Jodi and Ruby. I don't think it's normal at all that a therapist would move into her client's home. I was moving out to college and I hadn't even left the house yet, and she is in my room and in my bed.
What was that relationship between the two of them?
Ruby tried to be secretive about it, and so I don't know all the details, but just the vibes that I was getting was that something was strange between them.
In the book, Sherry writing about messages between the two she says she found on Ruby's laptop after their arrest that confirmed for me the truth about the nature of her relationship with Jodi and how it had spilled over in.
What she found was I love you, things that was very actual to each other on the laptop and others as well.
To the physical, Ruby expressing her frustration about having to cater to Jodi's needs for physical affection without getting anything in return.
Were they romantically involved with each other?
I never saw anything specific about that.
You think they were more than friends?
I'm not sure.
ABC News reached out to Ruby and Hildabrandt for comment, but did not hear back. Both women pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child abuse against the 2 youngest children, but not Sherry, and will serve at least 4 years in prison.
To my babies, my 6 little chicks.
Oh, girl.
They were part of me.
Did you believe that she was apologetic?
I think that she's as sorry as she can be. What she has done is so bad that I don't think her mind allows her to kind of fully comprehend the guilt of all that. And so I think that she probably genuinely believed everything she said. I don't believe it, though.
Sherry now trying to turn her pain into purpose.
There is no such thing as a moral or ethical family vlogger.
Advocating to restrict family vlogging with children too young to consent.
Is there anything that you would say to Ruby if you had the chance?
Probably tell her I'm happy without you. I was scared of her for so long, and I am pure without her approval, and I am just fine.
Have you forgiven Ruby?
Forgiveness is something I've had to study a lot and kind of think about what it means. But for me, forgiveness would look like not letting that consume every moment of my life and all of my thoughts. I am just trying to move on with my life and trust that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to.
And we know Sherry reached out to authorities about alleged abuse of her younger siblings multiple times without help. We reached out to the Utah Department of Child and Family Services, and they cited their policy of privacy. Sherry is now focused on rebuilding her relationship with her siblings and her father, who told ABC News he is proud of his daughter. The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom, is available now. And she has some good news in her life. She was just engaged. She posted it on Instagram. And she talked about the fact that this is now, everything else is going to be private. She wants to be a mother. She wants her life to be private. She was very careful not to share about her siblings because she wants them to have the option to share their story when they're ready.
Sometimes I'll
Wow. Okay, so I think the youngest spoke out.
Week marked 1 year since Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were hauled off to prison for the torture that they inflicted on 4 of Ruby's 6 children. Ruby was an influencer, a mom influencer. Jodi was her partner / therapist / fellow abuser of those kids. The kids were made into co-stars of Ruby's wildly successful YouTube series, 8 Passengers. At its peak, that show had 2.5 million subscribers and earned the Frankes $100,000 a month. The show espoused the benefits of strict parenting, which we now know Ruby Franke took to horrendous extremes when the cameras were not rolling. We know that she would tie her kids up, or she'd lock them in the basement, Or she'd make them sleep outside in the cold if they failed in some completely pointless task like sitting against the wall. She would withhold food to dangerous levels. And at least once, she chopped off all of her daughter's hair for daring to eat. When the police finally rescued the youngest kids, after one of the kids escaped to a neighbor's house, they were emaciated with infected cuts on their legs and sores on their feet. Duct tape was wrapped around their wrists and ankles. All of this and more is being highlighted in a Hulu docuseries called Devil in the Family: The Fall of Ruby Franke.
Our entire schedule revolved around YouTube. It felt more like a set than a house.
She just wanted to show the view of a Mormon happy family. But they only saw what we wanted to show them.
Sit her down on the flipping couch. Okay, move it. If I hear one more word, get out.
The devil knocked, and we opened the door.
Oh.
Through all of this, Kevin Franke, Ruby's husband, was the invisible man. He denied ever knowing the extent of what his kids were going through, and he was never charged with a crime. He's now in the process of divorcing Ruby, and while he isn't yet her ex-husband, he is going very public, and he's calling on Utah lawmakers to protect children in the future from being used as financial pawns by their influencer parents. He says he regrets ever putting his kids online.
No, he didn't.
And his now 11-year-old daughter agrees. This is what she writes. Thought you'd want to hear it. I thought nothing was wrong. I felt happy, but I really wasn't. When I started getting older, I realized the YouTube channel had ruined my childhood, but at least I got some money, right? Oh, right. I actually didn't, because my mom withdrew all of it in 2023. I worked hard for that money. I acted like someone I wasn't in front of the camera, and I earned that money. But I feel like my mom used me for. The 11-year-old continues saying, you all might be saying right now that my dad told me to say these things and is using me, but that is not true. If anyone is using their kids, it's the YouTubers filming them for money. I know I am stuck with the trauma of YouTube. Even now, I can barely make friends because my whole life, I was the center of attention. But now, without even realizing it, I seek attention from others, or I feel like they don't like me. Then those people think I'm mean.
Mm-hmm.
The bill that lawmakers are considering would force creators who make more than $150,000 off their kids to set aside 15% in a trust fund.
Olivia Johnson, do you hear that? Olivia Johnson. She the modern day Ruby.
For them. It would also allow those kids to have their content removed if they choose after they turn 18 years old. Last week marked 1 year since Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were hauled off to prison for the torture that they inflicted on 4 of Ruby's 6 children. Ruby was an influencer, a mom influencer. Jodi was her partner / therapist / Ruby was abusive before the YouTube channel. What do you make of that?
I agree. I think you see those moments in the documentary. The documentary does a great job of looking behind the curtain and showing you those behaviors that she was engaging in before she met Jodi. You know, there's this moment in the documentary that just, even I was, you know, gasping for breath because it was so extreme. She grabs one of her children's mouths and she's grabbing the mouth and she's holding it shut and she's squeezing. And it's such an aggressive moment. It's completely unnecessary because her child's not behaving in that moment, right? And so I think that's one of those moments that really foreshadows everything to come.
You know, Lauren, I did not know that these 1,000 hours of footage existed in a box and that the director had those hours. And obviously, Hulu has spent 1,000 hours at least going over them. And I think what might be, apart from just the awfulness that we're...
Now, I know we boycotting Hulu. I understand. But I'm gonna check and see if Netflix is gonna pick it up. Because, you know, they trying, Hulu trying to get us with Abbott Elementary, y'all. Hulu trying to get us with Abbott Elementary, knowing goddamn well we ain't dealing with them. Yeah. So I'm going to look and see.
Now able to witness. The fascinating part was that some of these kids said that they thought Ruby was abusive before the YouTube channel. What do you make of that?
I agree. I think you see those moments in the documentary. The documentary does a great job of looking behind the curtain and showing you those behaviors that she was engaging in before she met Jodi. You know, there's this moment in the documentary that just, even I was, you know, gasping for breath because it was so extreme.
Sorry,
She
y'all.
grabbed.
I love it on dog.
God told me when I was driving before I called you. I didn't have any information. I didn't know anything. And the Spirit said, your children are going to be removed. And I cried out loud. I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not ready. And God told me I'm done. And I just, so Satan has taken everything away from me that I love. And I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things. I'm a really good girl.
Ruby, I'm going to do everything that I can to keep truth in our family. And
about time you stand up, Kevin. About time. Let me tell you something. He still loved her after all the time she cheated on him with that woman and did all that. But I think he released that stuff because at some point he owned it to his kids.
Thank you.
I'm committed to our family. I'm committed to you and our marriage, no matter what happens.
Thank you.
I will be here to support you in any way that I can.
Oh, thank you for stepping up. God told me when I was driving before I called you. I didn't have any information. I didn't know anything. And the Spirit said, your children are going to be removed. And I cried out loud. I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not ready. And God told me I'm done. And I just,
Okay, here go her son, y'all.
When was the last time you spoke to your mom?
She was arrested, and I didn't hear from anyone at all. And then a week later, I get a call from her. Very still in the mindset of what I did was right. And I was now in the mindset of what she did was wrong. So trying to help her see what she did. We were talking in very spiritual ways. Mom, Jesus wouldn't do that. Jesus wouldn't hurt her kids like this. And this is the first time anyone has ever fought back on her, at least someone who's close to her. She told me, she said, you know, I hope God tells you who I really am. 3 or 5 days later, she called me again, bawling. And she's like, I've thought about everything you said, and you are completely right. And, you know, no one has ever talked to me that way, the way you talk.
This is the guy. Everybody asked, was he from Twilight? He was in Twilight. He played Jacob. He was in Twilight. This is the one that Bed got took
to me, and you know, I realized what I've done is wrong. And just because, you know, I said I love you, and just because she was extremely apologetic doesn't mean I should have a relationship with her right now. And then she started talking about money, because a week before she was arrested, my savings account, everything I earned from the YouTube channel, wiped, zero. And to this day, I still haven't gotten that back. Everything I earned from that 8 Passengers channel, I have nothing now from it.
When was the last time you spoke to your mom?
She was arrested, and I didn't hear from anyone at all. And then a week.
I don't know why they think he played in Twilight, but I don't think he was. They saying he wasn't, but he wasn't, I guess. I'm sitting here looking.
How old were you at that point?
I was 15,
Okay.
15 or 16.
Mhm.
And you had been sleeping on a
Yeah, I think he was the one that ran to get help or something like that. Remember, she was like, yeah, I took your bed, and how she took his bed for like 5 months. That's him.
beanbag.
Yeah.
For how long?
7 months. So
Okay.
yeah, almost, a little over a year.
And that's what this incident is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. People were really upset about that. And just because she said it so casually, like, yeah, he's been sleeping on the floor. Yeah, he doesn't have a bedroom or a bed.
Yeah.
And people started catching on very quickly, like in the videos, to what she was doing. I remember there was a video with a little clip, and it was she took the door off my bedroom that I had, and I wasn't sleeping in there, but she still took the door off. And then she took the door off my bathroom as well in the basement. So she didn't want me to have any kind of privacy at all. And people started catching on to that. And the hate started growing and growing and growing. And then, she kind of just left it. So
Yeah.
just left YouTube completely.
When you start, how old were you at that point?
I was.
Let's see if the other kids have something to say. Chad, let's see if he has something to say.
Ruby Franke's son, Chad Franke, was recently asked about his thoughts on his Aunt Bonnie after everything that happened. A lot of people put blame on her because they felt like she didn't do enough to help the Franke children. Here's what Chad had to say.
I was on a phone call with her yesterday, and she's doing great. They're in Florida right now. And yes, she did try to help all of us. All of my aunts were being very kind and generous when everything happened.
A viewer asked Chad who's his role model. Listen to what he said.
I honestly really look up to my Uncle Joel, actually. Seeing him raise his boys, I think he's raising his boys perfectly. I think it's so fun watching them in Florida and him teaching them how to fish and everything. That's how I want to be a dad, if that makes sense. So.
In case you missed it, last month, Bonnie shared a video titled Where I Stand on My Sister Ruby and My Genuine Thoughts. She made it very clear she does not support Ruby. Listen to this clip of the video.
I want to be very clear that I do not support Ruby. She doesn't need mercy. She doesn't need justice. She needs a jail cell. And I can't even think beyond that. I believe in justice and mercy, and I think both of those come in time. I think that the mercy needs to lie at the feet of the children, not at Ruby's. And that's where I stand on that.
Ruby Franke's son, Chad Franke, was recently asked about his thoughts on his Aunt Bonnie after everything that happened. A lot of people put blame on her because they felt like she didn't do enough to help the Franke children. Here's what Chad had to say.
I was on a phone call with her yesterday, and she's doing great. They're in Florida right now. And yes, she did try to help all of us. All of my aunts were being very kind and generous when everything happened.
A viewer asked Chad who's his role model. Listen to what he said.
For him not to say his daddy and to say his uncle speaks very loud volumes to me. And I don't blame him. Oh, come on. I mean, a lot of people are watching it.
Is there the things that you see that are concerning in the documentary, such as the sternness, the yelling at the kids to get them to comply, and the filming and those kinds of things? I think a lot of people that aren't familiar with family content creation would look at that and go, that's horrible. That's abusive. And it is abusive. But what I want people to understand is that was not unique to our family. I don't know a single family content creator that did not have interactions like that with their children.
Yeah. And I can testify the same. I mean, we would go on, big YouTube trips, and, there would be so many family vloggers there with so many kids and cameras out. And, the stuff that my mom did behind the scenes, like, yelling or get back in place or say that again, or, the sternness, that wasn't just my mom as well. I mean, a lot of, vloggers and parents who are putting their kids on camera, they act the exact same. They want their kids to repeat something. They want their kids to act a certain way. They want them in a certain spot. And, since they're their kids, they can be a little more stern and raise their voice. So those behind the scenes that everyone is seeing, that it kind of scares them. It's not uncommon.
Fake being happy. Okay?
I don't know if I can right now.
the things that you see that are concerning in the documentary, such as the
Fake being happy.
How did you get the ropes on you? Who did them? You're not in trouble with me, okay? We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Our main focus right now is you, okay? Who put the ropes on you? Supposed to help you what?
That baby looked like he really, really skinny. That's ridiculous.
How did you get the ropes on you?
I have 4 walls in the bathroom. That gives privacy. When my child begins using those 4 walls to do things that are deceptive, they lose the privilege of privacy. Why? Because they're not concerned about privacy. That is the last thing they're concerned about. They're just trying to hold that word over your head. They're trying to hold you hostage, saying, you need to give me privacy. You need to honor my boundaries. You need to honor my feelings. You don't care about me.
Listen, it's a sad, and yeah, those ropes are pretty tight. It's a sad case, man. First, I'm glad those kids are getting the healing that they need. I'm glad that they're getting, you know what I'm saying? Just they're in a place to where it's going to take a minute. They can do what they can. I don't think they want to. They have not talked to their mother. I don't believe they want to. I do not believe they want to repair any relationship with her because of how they were treated. I feel like that, you know, basically, she let that woman come in between also. And that's going to take a minute. Her husband is divorcing her. That's another thing. So when she get out, she ain't got nothing to go back to. It's going to be very hard for her kids. And yes, the mother that I talk about, I believe she is another Ruby Franke in this situation. I can go on about how she have the children watch their brothers and go in the pool and she don't do. I can go on and on about that, but when we got to do that another time, it's getting late. Tomorrow I have an update with Romika Baby Daddy. He going off on Facebook, y'all. He going yapping on Facebook. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow, and then we're gonna talk about, are you Christian first or are you black first? Which one is it? Which one is it? Do you go by who you are first or what? Which one is it? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching this video. This live. Thank you for bearing. If you can, go watch the documentary. It's a lot more in there. I didn't want to give a lot of content because I do want you guys to go watch it, but I'm glad that the father woke up. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Drama normal 7 days, grab it like it's hot. If this world was mine, I'd take it, dreams and make them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take your enemies in front of God.